time for the truth. That's it. Running. Not for too long.
I'm Roberta.
And I'm Duca.
And for the past year, we have been building our own tiny shipping container house, so we can travel around knowing that we will always have this little place that we can call home.
But guess what? We just found our dream project before we expected. This abandoned sailboat. So we're gonna stop building the house for a couple months to bring our boat back to life. And then we're gonna go back and finish the house. I don't even know how to start. That's such a long story. Yeah, the engine actually started
Months ago,
when we just arrived here on the boatyard. The first thing was to find someone that we trust to work on the engine.
Yeah.
Who gave us the tip was the guy that works here on the boatyard. We talked about him already, the old guy that is just always around and he always helps us. And Saboji. Yeah, thanks Saboji. Yeah, he gave us a contact of a good mechanic, and he came 3.5 months ago just to take a look at the engine.
This guy is used to work with MWM, so that's why we hire him.
Yeah, MWM is the model of the engine, like the brand of the engine is a MWM 58 horsepower 3 cylinders. So this guy works for the company that do the how you call, like,
the crossing from Guarujá to Santos here in Brazil.
Yeah, it's like a ferry boat, but it's really tiny ferry boat just for people, not for cars. So these small ferry boats use the same engine as we use, so he has a lot of experience with this kind of engines. First we asked him, can you give us a price to turn on the engine, and after you turn on the engine you see what we need, and then from there you give another price to fix the engine. And he's like, the price for just turning on the engine, it would be like $200. So $200 he would bring the fuel and the battery and
at that time.
Everything that was necessary to turn on the engine on the dry. And I'm like, so what's your opinion? Is the engine gonna turn on? He's like, 100% sure. I know that engine is gonna turn on. Yeah. And I'm like, so why should we spend $200 just to see something that he has so much confidence on? So I'm like, so after that, what are you gonna do, you think? He's like, I need to change all the filters, oil, I need to get the head of the engine off, redo the seal and this and that. And I'm like, so let's do straight this job without turning the engine on, because if you're so confident, doesn't make sense. So that's where the job started.
Yeah. And he started looking to the pieces that we had. When we bought the boat, there were a lot of spare pieces, so we used a lot of spare pieces.
All the filters and all the oil was on the boat already. We used from the stock that the former owner had
22 years ago.
Yeah, but he checked all the pieces and they're all fine. So every piece, like the water pump, for example, nothing can happen to the water pump. We had a brand new water pump, salt water pump, so he used the same one. The filters are the same ones, so we save a lot of money on parts because he had spare parts. So just so you understand, we started this job 3 months ago. They came and then disassembled all the necessary parts and took with them, so they could give maintenance outside of the boatyard and they could paint the parts, and then they would bring back and finish the job, right?
Yeah.
Until the paint started.
Yeah. So we started painting the boat and we discovered that it was impossible to work with the mechanics there where we were with the boat. That was a mess and dark inside.
Yeah, the situation on the boat wasn't nice because it was just dust everywhere and it was impossible to give proper attention to an engine while people were sanding and painting the boat. That's why we took so long in between the day they took all the pieces of the boat, the engine off, to the day that they assembled this past week, because we needed to wait until they finished painting the boat.
Yeah.
And then comes the big moment. There's mosquitoes. Right now is the mosquito time. It's like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and the mosquitoes are crazy. Yeah, so basically, I think better than talking, we're gonna show you a video clip of now when they put all the parts together, right? So,
and then the big moment when we try to turn on the engine.
Yeah. Babe steps.
Yeah. So let's get started.
Video clip now. So pretty much at this point we had the engine back together, but we still need to change oils and filters. But as the engine was sitting there still for at least 5 years, it's really tough to take all the oil off because it's really hard and dry. So the solution for that is to turn on the engine and wait until the engine heats it up, so the oil is loose again, and then we can exchange oil. And that's the tricky moment. After so long waiting for this moment, it was finally time to turn the engine on, and that's what we're gonna show you now. I'm not gonna say if the engine went on or not, but
I just know that I got wet.
yeah. Another video clip.
Well, before we try to turn on the engine, we want to take a minute to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video.
If we think back, since we started this channel, this long journey, a lot of what we learned was with others online.
And that's why we are so excited to partner with Skillshare.
Skillshare is an online learning community for creators with thousands of classes in design, business, and more.
The premium membership gives you unlimited access, so you can join the classes and communities that are just right for you.
Whether you want to fuel your curiosity, creativity, or even career, Skillshare is the perfect place to keep you learning and thriving.
Join more than 7 million creators learning with Skillshare.
Join groups to learn with like-minded learners, give and receive feedback on projects, and speak with others with the same interests as you.
Right now, we are taking classes mostly related to video and photography.
One of the classes we really like is called Video Editing, Transforming Footage into Evocative Travel Stories by Oliver Astrologo. The way Oliver tells his stories just inspires us to try to find new ways of telling our own story.
Good news! Skillshare is giving away a free 2 months, a limited access trial to our subscribers who click in the link in the description below.
And after that, it's only around $10 a month.
Well, we hope you guys enjoy the classes as much as we are enjoying.
But now it's about time to fire this engine. So let's do it.
Well, today's the day. We are gonna turn on the engine for the first time, and we are pretty sure it's gonna work. And the travel lift is coming because we need to turn on the engine with the travel lift to hold the boat. So it's all set to turn on the engine. Let's see if it works.
Time for the truth. That's it. Running. Not for too long.
Tirar pouquinho do ar.
Just a little bit of air on the system, but quick fix. Second try. The only problem we had right now is that we don't have the diesel tank installed, so we are using a small diesel tank, and we need to have the return for the diesel. And the return, we are just using a temporary hole that's not, it's leaking a little bit, so he's just trying to fix that. But the engine is running. It's just amazing.
So after a shower, we decided to put the hose straight inside the boat because it's not pulling enough the water, so we are gonna change plans again.
Someone is wet.
Yeah, look that the forecast was wrong and today we have sun.
Yeah. Part of the business.
My socks.
Yeah, the thing is the hose is just too thin, and we're gonna do a direct connection to the engine because we are not getting enough water on the system. It's gonna be fine. It's just, you know, the way we can do to turn on the engine in the dry because there's no salt water underneath the boat, of course. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
They could have thought about that before I got wet, right?
Yeah. So basically what we are doing now is just leaving the engine on a little bit, just to make sure the oil, the lubricant oil, heats it up so we can exchange the oil, because it's still there sitting still for too long, so it's really thick, the oil. We need to heat it up so it's more liquid, and then we can switch the oil. But it's promising, it's pretty good. Happy, excited, that's good news. Let's check inside. How is the engine? Running like a clock. Perfect. Just works. See? Told you guys, the engine was gonna work. Now we just need to wait until the oil heats it up, and we're gonna exchange the oil. And we need to change this. This thing is broken. The key. We already ordered one because we needed to do a direct. How called direct? Yeah. We just turn on in the engine because this is just broken. But the engine is not that loud actually. Pretty good. Really excited. Time to turn this engine off. That's it. Off. But the good news is the engine is running like a, how you call it? Running like a.
I don't know.
There's a saying
What's
for
the
that.
saying for that?
Yeah, it's running perfectly. The sounds really good.
We left the engine working for like 1 hour,
Yeah.
and it's working properly.
And after that, it was time to change the oils and filters and put all together back.
It's a lot of oil.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was like
that
5 liters of oil for the reverser, and another
7
8,
for the
I think
oil.
8 for the engine. 8
a
liters
lot.
for the engine. Yeah, it's a lot of oil. But the engine is just great. And now all we need to do is put the boat back in water once we finish, and then we are gonna call the mechanic again just to make sure he turns on the engine after we change the oil, because we need to learn how to take the air off the system. We kind of learned it this week, but for the first time we want his assistance just to make sure we do the right thing. We are still thinking about exchanging the alternator. We're not sure for a more modern one, so we can
Because we add 2 batteries on the boat, so
Yeah.
we are thinking about changing the alternator for a better one.
yeah, it's hard to shoot an episode about the engine because it's just so tight, the compartment of the engine, that it's hard to show everything they did, but pretty much news are good. The engine is working fine. Of course, we didn't use for like 10 hours straight, but everyone that have worked with this kind of engines before, they say once it turns on, it won't turn off. It's just really reliable, and we are really excited with that, because that means that we
can go home
can go home. Yeah.
with our home.
Yeah, we can go home with our home. Yeah, but of course we are rambling too much. If you have any specific question about the engine, let us know in the comment section below. We probably left things off. The episode is just
Hard
too
to
much
remember
things to
everything.
remember, and too hard to shoot an episode once we are trying to learn how to fix the engine, how to change the oils, filters and everything. So we were half of the time just paying attention instead of filming. It's just hard to do both things at the same time. And she's like, you're not filming. I'm like, I need to pay attention, I want to learn. So it's tricky to do everything at once.
We can watch the movie later so we can learn.
Yeah, but we are already rambling.
Yeah.
Time to go, right?
Yeah.
But first we need to thank our patrons.
Yeah.
Time to thank, welcome on board our new patrons.
Thanks a lot, Carl,
Scott,
Ivan,
Lawrence,
Per.
Jeremy.
And we also want to thank all the donations through PayPal.
Thanks so much, Thomas.
And Valerie.
Well, for this week, that's it. So I guess we see you guys
Next
week.
week.
See you guys next Monday. See you next Monday.